All right, I'm just having a drink of my sparkling water. I'm going through a sparkling water phase, and I even have that machine in my house. I just want sparkling water. I usually drink just simple water, but now I don't know what's gone on with me. And so that's what I do. And then I'll order it to come to the house. And then I'm creeping out the house. And my kid goes, "Where are you going?" And I said, "To get my sparkling water because it's delivered to the house." I don't know about you, but there are a whole bunch of strange things that happen and the confidence to stand by your strange things that happen as you get up in age. And, one of those things is the importance of purchasing your own home. Now, purchasing your own home is a very interesting process. It can be a challenging process because, of course, you have to go to every single bank. There are now companies that do that for you, who'll go to all the banks for you. But essentially, you need to give your pay slip, you need to give, your bank statements, how you've earned over the last few months. But when you are a freelancer, oh, my freelancer friends, how do we do it? Well, somehow we push through with great difficulty. So let's talk to Melissa Hammenberg about what it means and how to do it to get through the housing process as freelancer. How are you doing, Melissa?
Good afternoon. I'm doing quite well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Very, very good. Thank you. So why is it such a struggle for freelancers with home loans, acquiring home loans?
Yeah, it is a bit of a struggle, but mostly what the banks look for is the stability. They're looking for a stable income. So freelancers need to be able to prove that they are getting a stable income every month. That way, it is easier for the bank to borrow them the money to buy the property that they want to buy. Yeah.
Okay, so then as a freelancer, you have no pay slip. You sometimes earn more, sometimes you earn less. There's no real, record apart from in your bank account. So how do you prove what you earn as a freelancer?
So usually what they would do is, if let's say for instance you are a business owner and you want to buy a property, so the bank would want to see 6 months, at least 6 months of your bank statements that shows that you have a consistent income. And then if, let's say, for instance, you're owning a business, what they would do is they would go as far as like maybe 3 years, a year, depending on the type of business that you're owning, to sort of see if you do have that stable income that is coming in. So usually what I would advise my clients to do is they should use one account for everything, and they should keep all the invoices and everything. So that way, when it's time to apply, it's easy for the bank to trace all the amounts that's coming in, and that consistency that the bank is looking for, that the bank is able to see that this person is actually able to pay us off should we give them the money.
Yeah, absolutely. Do banks consider freelancers high risk?
Honestly, they do. But what the banks would usually do is they would, in most cases, what I've seen with my clients is they would ask them for a deposit.
Yeah.
Not only for a deposit, but they will literally ask for your finances. They want to see if your modules make sense. They will dig into each and everything that you are providing for them. But they do get a home loan.
Yeah. No, I mean they wouldn't be disallowed to get a home loan based only on the fact that they're freelancers. But if they're freelancers and their finances don't give them an opportunity, then they can be let down from having the home loan, like anyone else.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So you said 6 months of income or bank statements from your business of what, a year?
Yes. So basically, at least the business has to be valid for, let's say, about a year or so. The income has to be consistent, and also, what I would advise them to do is not just get the money, like not just have one source of income. They can do different things that will show that it's not just maybe let's say they have rentals, they're using let's say Uber, they have other services that they're giving. They should use all of that money, but then it should be in one account, and they should also have a separate bank account and a business account. That way it's easy for them to be able to be like, this is where all of our money is coming in, and this is how we pay the money, and this is the savings, or whatever the case may be.
Okay, so if you do a specific job, and having more clients of that job, depositing every now and then, or however it works for your business, that looks better than having only one source of income.
It does. It definitely does. It boosts your chances of being able to get a home loan, because
you're a freelancer.
yes.
Hey, you're not a permanently employed person.
And also what the bank will then also look at is, if let's say for instance let's say you provide shoes. If that contract ends, at least you are getting money from the Uber, you're getting money from the rental.
Yes.
So they literally check all of those things, and you also have to be tax compliant. And not just that, but then we also have to talk about your credit score. You need to also work on your credit score. It has to look good, because they won't only just check your business, but they will check your own personal credit score as well, to see if you are reliable, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Your reliability can raise very big red flags, right? I mean, they look into your bank statements. Is that really all they're looking for?
So like I said, your tax, they will check if you are compliant. They will check if your credit score is working. They'll check if the company, or if you are actually able to make money. But they will go as far as, they can even ask for more than 6 months of a pay slip or bank statements. They will check for anything and everything to really see that what you are applying for, you are able to pay it off. Not only that, but you also need to have a deposit. And I can't say how much a deposit that they will require, because then it would depend on the bank. So let's say, for instance, in most cases, if your bank statement is good and your business is okay, they'll maybe give you you'll need to pay let's say 10% deposit. But others, it's 20%. It all depends on also the type of property that you want to buy, and the type of loan, the amount of the loan that you want and that you qualify for.
I mean, I just meant they're not going through your statements to see that you spend on this, you shop on Shein, they're looking for exactly what they're looking for.
So they do check all of that. They do. They do. So, okay, basically, it's like when you're buying a home, as someone who has a stable job, they check if your expenses are more than your income. And also your spending habits.
Right.
So usually when you're signing an offer to purchase, or when you're trying to get into, when you're trying to get a loan, there's a part where you fill in, where it will say how much are you spending on entertainment, how much is electricity, how much is water, and so forth. So they take all of that, they'll calculate it. Let's say it's up to 10,000 Rand, and then they will minus that 10,000 Rand from the monthly income that you are having. And if, let's say, for example, your monthly income is 15,000 Rand, and according to your bank statements, you spending 10,000 Rand on yourself or on your own, chances are you may not get that loan, or you might get a very, very low offer. But if they are able to see that your spending, your expenditure, and also what you have and what you're spending, what you're able to afford, it makes sense that you still have money to pay them back, then they will definitely consider you, So they check everything. They'll even check your tax returns, I did. I think I already mentioned
You did. About tax, you did mention. And in the
yes,
next hour, we're going to have a full hour talking about tax. So we're
mm,
definitely going to get this in that hour as well. So that's important. Um,
yeah.
but you were saying?
No, I was also going to say they're also going to check, like, let's say no, like your no bounce debit orders. Also, do you have savings? Do you have any investments? Let's say, for instance, usually when you have a house, it's easy for you to get a car because they know that they have something that
Mm,
they can take back should you not be able to pay off the car
mm.
or whatever the case is. So they do also check your assets. So they would check if we are to give you this loan, and you're not able to pay it back, how can we get our money back?
Yeah,
They also look at that as well.
of course.
So yeah, so it's a lot, and the process usually is a bit longer than what a normal regular person who has a stable income that is employed would be. So usually for someone to get a bond grant, it can take a week, 2 weeks, depending on the situation. But like if we are looking at a freelancer, it can take a month, it can take a bit long because they'll consistently keep on calling you for more documents, and you will have to be signing more things and giving them access to certain properties in certain areas or so forth. It depends on that. It is a bit of a longer process, but you do get approved. I've had a couple of clients that have gotten approved.
You make it sound like this is the most torturous thing. But if you're lucky, you can get through. And I'll tell you, as a freelancer, I've always felt that way. Just the idea of how many places you have to go to get your IRP fives to understand.
Mm,
Oh my gosh. And you're absolutely right. It feels like that. And so I wonder if it's better to register a business or to operate as a sole proprietor so that when the need arises to prove income for a loan, it'll be better for you.
So, if you are a freelancer, right, and you're trying to get a property, you have to plan it out. You can't just be like, okay, tomorrow or next month I want to buy a property. You have to give yourself time. So you can choose if you want to go the business route. Obviously, they will want to see the company like for a whole year. They want those finances and see what's happening there. If you are going to go with your own name and just try and apply and show that you do have consistent income, they will want the 6 months bank statement. But then it does make it a bit harder to also prove because what if, because they consider a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
So if you do register a business, it does work on your side way better compared to if you're just going on your own and you just like, okay guys, I do certain services here and there or whatever the case is. But if you're registering a business, also they will consider the fact that, oh, it does pay tax, it does have an invoice, it does have this, it does, they consider a lot of things.
Yeah, and just owning a business just to have the business, we've talked about this before on the show. The business becomes its kind of its own person. So it has its own tax returns, its own VAT issues, like there are other things. So you've got to be able to make sure you are getting up to date with everything that you do. But I imagine that may be something that people think could make the life easier for us. In the beginning of the conversation, I talked about going to every bank to see, if they'll give you a loan. And I corrected myself because that is old age stuff. Now we have bond originators, and we have even, who's that animal? He's a hippo who'll go and check for you wherever you need, and whoever will give you your bond. So talk to us about originators, but also talk to us about how they can help freelancers specifically.
So when it comes to bond originators, they are quite important for a lot of people when they do apply for a home loan. So usually what happens is your bank can tell you that if you apply directly with us and cut out the middleman, which would then be the bond originator, we are going to give you a better rate. But what a bond originator would then do is they will take that, they will apply at all the other banks, they will compare the amount and then they will pin them against each other. So let's say, for instance, if F&B decides to give you 11.2% and then Standard Bank decides to give you 11.1, they can take the Standard Bank one and take it to F&B, be like, F&B, look what Standard Bank is willing to offer our client. And if, let's say, for instance, you bank with F&B, they can be like, and this person doesn't even bank with you, so you guys have to give them a way better rate than what F&B, Standard Bank would be offering them. Then you might end up even paying 10 point something percent, depending on that. So also, not only that, but they have long-term, like, built relationships with people that are working in the bank. And remember, the bank wants to loan you the money because they get interest from it. So they would start fighting to be like, we want to give you this. So F&B is giving you this amount. Nedbank will come and be like, we want to give you an even better offer, prime rate or whatever the case may be. So that's how bond originators work on your side, and they will collect all the information for you. They will assist you. So in terms of a freelancer, hence I say that they can't just wake up and just be like, I want to buy a property in like the next day.
Yeah.
What they will do is speak to a bond originator. That bond originator will tell you that, okay, in the next 6 months, this is what you need to cut out. This is what you need to do.
Yeah.
That way, your bank statements are clean. They'll be able to advise you and also how to get your credit score up. They also have access to all of these other spaces where they're able to check your bank statements. They're able to check the hidden that MTN that you didn't pay that doesn't really show up on your credit score, but only shows up when you're about to apply. And they are able to check that, and they're able to be like, okay, if you remove this and then you take it and mix it with that, or you put these two together, it will help your credit score, and also it will give us a better chance for us to even, and also when they put in an application for you, what they do is they will motivate that application.
Right.
They won't just put in the application and be like, okay, this person's applying. They'll motivate. They'll be like, please also consider the fact that this person is maybe this young, and, basically they'll negotiate for you with the bank. And that's what bond originators do.
I mean, that sounds really important to do. And, the idea of the planning beforehand, you can't just say, I'm sick of here and go buy a property. You actually have to plan for it. So I think that's many people in Joburg, and especially those who listen to Power 98.7, founder and CEO of Lelo N Co Real Estate and Consulting. Lelo N Waka Kajeni is on the line with us. If you have any last minute questions that you want to drop in, 086-1987-000 and also 083-303-7093. We have talked about the fact that if you're not tax compliant, even a few things that you have, a few returns, they can still, you've got to sort that out first, yeah?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, we've made sure of that. So let's say someone has multiple streams of income, Uber driving, digital freelancing, whatever. Is it the bond originator who's going to help you to combine all of that for one application, or at least show where it's all coming from one for one application?
Yeah. So that's what the bond originator would do. They will gather all of your information together. They will provide you so bond originators, they apply on your behalf. They negotiate the rates and all the other stuff on your behalf. They help you to also prepare the documents properly. And also they deal with these things every day. So they are more able to guide you on how to submit or how to do this. Like they can look at your bank statements and be like, okay, maybe you're spending too much on entertainment. Do you mind cutting it a bit? You're doing this much on shoes. Do you mind just reducing it for this amount of time? And also they will then advise you that also please, people should understand when you've put in an application for a home, you should not by any means apply for any other thing on credit until the property is registered.
Why not?
Because so what happens is if you apply before the property registers, the bank goes back and they check everything to see if it's still the same, to see if your credit score is still the same, if you are not in errands, if all of these other things. And then they'll give you that last go ahead. So if they now go back and then they see that, okay, Melissa got married, that will affect the bond that you're applying for, even getting married, because your spouse is also a responsibility. The car that you bought or the clothing account that you just opened, that is a new expense. So they need to calculate into the bond.
It messes up their equation, basically.
Yes.
So
and
then,
people don't understand when you applying for a home, apply for that home, get married after the property has registered.
Okay.
But your bond originators would be able to tell you that and give you all the better clarification and stuff.
This is very interesting. So in the middle of buying a house, you want to get married at the same time. By coincidence, you fall in love, or is the plan, we're going to live in this home? I just don't, I don't, you know, have these been your clients, Melissa?
Yes. So if you are with anyone in a relationship with anyone, that 3 months of you applying for that home, just don't get married then.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think that part I'll manage to do. There are others who are addicted to getting married, so lastly, a young creative, and we know so many of the social media houses have given so many people complete careers, not even side hustles. So what would you give as advice to a young creative who wants to plan now financially to buy a house maybe in 2 or 3 years?
So basically, what I would advise them is, firstly, they need to track their income and their expenses.
Right.
They need to obviously become tax compliant and file regularly. Most importantly, they need to start building a credit immediately. The credit doesn't need to be them buying a car, whatever. It can be a small, maybe Edgar's account that's 500 Rand, 1,000, and pay it every month. That it builds a credit, because then it shows that you're paying something off, They also need to have, let's say, some sort of a savings, because when you're buying a home, you also need to pay for transfer costs.
Yeah.
Unless if the property is a new property and it has never been owned by anyone, And if they want to do anything with their business, they need to consider registering their business if they will freelance long term.
Right. Okay, good. Well, that's the information that you need. How do we find you?
Okay, so it's Melissa Hammenberg.
Yeah.
At Beyond Listings with Mel, or you can find me on all social media platforms. Melissa Mel _Hammenberg or Beyond Listings with Mel, or you can contact me on 0844 507738.
Melissa Hammenberg, thank you very much for stepping in and helping us out with this very, very important, I think sometimes overlooked by those who have 9 to 5s, but that's very, very important for us to talk about. Thanks, Melissa.